Welcome to News from the Hill, our monthly show with our representative representing Reading, Woburn, and Stoneham is Jim Dwyer. So we've got a comeback program here. Jim's been away for a while. After the election, we thought we'd bring him back. He wanted to come back, so we welcome Mr. Dwyer. How are you? And congratulations on being reelected to the Senate, the House of Representatives seat representing Reading, Woburn, and Stoneham.
Well, I appreciate that, Tony. Thanks so much. It's important for me to be on Reading Public Media and all the public medias in the district. It gives the constituents and the community, an opportunity to see me and, for me to answer questions that may be relevant to them and to you, my old friend.
Well, we hope that's the case because we've had a little go around here before the show.
What kind of questions you ask me, Tom.
I know. But Jimmy, seriously, we're glad to have you back, and we're really happy that you chose to come back. My memory is very, very light, but am I right in assuming that, saying that this campaign was kind of a negative campaign that we just got through in September? Do you agree with that? Or my mind's a little bit off direction.
Campaigns in general?
Right. I'm talking about in general too, and also Massachusetts campaign. I'm thinking primarily of, well, the governors especially. There was a lot of negative comments, but some of the other races, we won't go into those, but they were a little bit negative in my opinion.
Well, I think I agree with you. I mean, it was, in my memory, I think this was probably the most, as far as campaign season, was very, very negative. And I think they had a lot of hotly contested races. Right. They brought out a lot of great issues. And I think that kind of would spur it on a little bit. But, I don't think people, they get tired of negativity, tired of negative things. And, they don't accentuate the positive naturally in what people do. And I ran on what I did the first 2 years, which I was very proud of. Did my best. Right. And, tried to stay as positive as we possibly could. And very proud of the campaign that we ran. It was a very spirited campaign. Right. And we stayed positive, and I was very gratified at the, at the percentages of the vote that I received. And,
you did carry Reading.
I did.
Which was really great. You did a lot of work. I know you were door to door.
Well, I did the same things I did the first time I ran, and I'm a people person, Tony, and I actually enjoy doing that. Yeah.
Well, let's ask that question, though. In a negative campaign, what were the things you were hearing as you went door to door? I know you're a door knocker. You see almost all the people. You go to each house. What were the things you were hearing from these people about the campaign, and what made it that type of campaign where people?
Well, it was legitimate concerns. I mean, people, the economy is absolutely terrible. Okay. Right. It's not just the Massachusetts economy. It's the economy nationwide and worldwide, actually. Right. You have a lot of countries, they're going bankrupt. Greece comes off the top of my mind, and the United States economy isn't that good. So you have a lot of unrest from people. A lot of people have investments in their markets. Right. People losing jobs. So that's why it was important, especially from an incumbent standpoint, me being an incumbent, you'd go out and knock on doors. I just never wanted the reputation. Well, he knocked on my door the first time he got elected. He never came back. It up. Yeah, that's
to me
a big thing. Yeah, it is. To me, that would always bother me. And people deserve to have their elected officials knocking on their door and have given them the ability to look at you face to face and say, "I didn't agree with this vote." Okay. Congratulations, I agreed on this. Right. And talk about ways the economy can improve.
Well, what did they say to you when you went to these doors? I mean, did they ask you about particular areal of concern? Did you discuss certain ones?
It was all about the economy and
all about the economy, jobs. Okay.
Getting people back to work. Local aid back to the communities. Right. I mean, these are all legitimate concerns that residents have. Yeah. Whereas the first time I ran, it was about honesty, integrity, and character. There was a few state representatives and a state senator that at the time that I ran the first time, 2 years ago, that allegedly haven't done the right things, and this time it was the economy.
Well, how important do you think, in your opinion, we're going to get down to nitty gritty here, we'll be honest about this. We don't throw any softballs. I've been accused of throwing softballs at people. How important do you think, the visibility that you showed around the neighborhoods, plus being on TV and going to the houses knocking, how important do you think people felt? They mentioned that to you, that they saw you, they saw you at different events, they saw you on TV. Did the visibility factor really, you think, help you a lot in the election too?
There was no question about it that did. I mean, I worked very hard this time as I did the first time. It's not easy getting up and going door to door every day.
It's humbling, isn't it?
Well, it was. The first time I ran, I'm not saying it was a little bit easier, but I had been retired at the time. Right. This time I had a job. Right. I was a full-time state representative. Right. And that's what I do full-time. I don't have a second job. Okay. A lot of my counterparts have primary secondary jobs. Yeah. you know, this is a full-time job. I would go in Boston, do the people's business, so to speak, every day, and come home and do a knock and then be out there on Saturdays and Sundays and do a knocking. So,
all right. You know. Let's talk about the coming session now. You've already been there now, but it's like September, now it's December. You've been there a little bit of time now.
Right.
What are the goals that you'd like to see happen at the State House? I know there's a lot of controversy about different things. There's different things in the paper we read about that we don't like to see. But from Jim Dwyer's point of view, for the people of Stoneham, Reading, and Woburn, what do you want to see happen, or what would you like your goals to be when you go in the State House each
I'd
day?
like to think it's just not Jim Dwyer's goals. I'd like to think that it should be everybody that represents people in the state's goals. I mean, the economy and job creation needs to be the focus of everybody's attention in the state representative and the state senate. We need to put people back to work. I mean, when you door knock and you have somebody come to you and say they've been laid off for 6 months, they get 2 college payments coming up. I mean, your hat goes out to these people. I mean, Mimi and myself, we had 2 kids that we put through college. It wasn't easy. I understand it.
Yeah.
You know, so everybody's focal point in there should be job creation, lowering the amount of money that the cost to do business in the state.
Okay.
Healthcare costs need to be lowered to allow businesses to hire more people.
Okay.
There need to be tax credits to bring business into the state of Massachusetts instead of losing business.
Yeah. Okay.
So all these things. Right now, it should be jobs, 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 and that's what our main focus should be in the next session in the next 2 years.
Now, what can you do as far? I mean, you're a state representative. There are so many state representatives, so many senators. What can you do as a political person to help that job situation?
Well, you can spur things. I mean, for example, lower the cost for small business to create jobs.
Okay.
Okay. Tax incentives for them. The tax incentives for job creation is the paramount concern.
Well, you've done a lot in the
lower
State House.
tax rates on capital gains for small business. You know, you need to spur business and make people want to come here to do business, and plus, you want to keep business here.
Right, keep them here. Right. Now, one of the big things, I mean, people don't discuss this at all, but even the movie industry has now moved into Boston. There's a lot of movies that are being filmed here because of incentives that we have.
The tax credits. Nick Paleologos is the head of the film industry in the state of Massachusetts, and a very good appointment by the governor. Excellent appointment. I know. Actually, I know the family very well.
Yeah.
And Nick, we passed tax incentives to create that business.
Okay.
I mean, and look at the movie that just came out, The Fighter.
The Fighter with.
I mean, that was a boom for Lowell, and as being a probation officer in Lowell for a lot of years.
Tough area too.
Well, I love the city of Lowell. I really enjoyed working in the city of Lowell. There's a lot of great people in the city of Lowell.
But that was big bucks to come in here to do that.
You betcha. I mean, for local diners, the hotel industry, bringing business into Lowell. I mean, that meant a lot to the city of Lowell.
What about the film The Town too? That was filmed mostly in Charlestown. Was that also? Another film that brought a lot of money here too, right? So that opened up a lot of jobs
that's
too.
Correct.
As far as
well,
that's concerned.
a lot of people didn't like the idea of the film industry.
Yeah, well, it's interference. Some people think it's a privacy issue.
Because they wanted to go here and they want to go there, but the point was,
Yeah.
it brings money. Anything that's going to bring money
Bring
in.
money into the
if you
state.
invest money into something and you can get that money double fold,
Right.
it's crazy just to say no to it.
But now, let's talk about the situation here with these new bills that are coming up. Are there any bills in the House that you're sponsoring now that are coming up for review or that are in the progress of being voted on?
Talk about, you know, I am going to be sponsoring a bill. Hopefully it'll help the economy, and I hope it's going to be something that's going to be a no-brainer as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah.
We had the holiday, the sales tax holiday back in August.
Right, okay.
I mean, that should be permanent. I mean, why that isn't permanent is beyond me.
That's a one-time shot, right?
That's correct.
Okay. So what's the bill?
Lowering, get the sales tax back from 6.25 to 5%.
Okay.
I think is the right thing to do now that we've kind of bridged over the hump a little bit.
Yeah.
Business is coming, so
there's
a lot of things that can be done to help business, and this is what we're trying to do.
Okay. Now the other bill, I read about this the other day. I didn't understand until I got into it. This Massachusetts Travelers Bill of Rights. It's not going to bring money in, but it's a concern of mine, I think. What is that bill all about?
Well, that's
people haven't seen that.
Well, that's something that we're going to be drafting, and I'm going to be the primary sponsor on that.
Okay, sponsoring that too.
Yeah, we had a young person called Nolan Webster.
Okay.
His mom and dad live in Woburn. Nolan was a great kid, and went on vacation to Mexico, and Nolan never returned.
Oh my God!
And the Websters have been tenacious about filing legislation that will make people aware of difficulties that may be happening in foreign lands and foreign countries. giving them the information. For example, when they had the drug cartels in Mexico.
Mexico.
Yeah, I mean that was something that was.
It's a lot, yeah, a lot of nice
No,
places.
the travel industry didn't like it, but the fact still remains, it puts a warning out there.
Yeah.
So there's a bill that we're trying to help. I give the Nolans an awful lot of credit. They've been tenacious on it. They lost a very dear child. He was a great kid, by the way. He really was.
In a foreign country,
any
not
child, yeah. So there's a little bit of nuances on that bill, but that's a bill that I'd like to file on their behalf.
Yeah.
And become a crusader on that.
Boy,
And
that's a tough thing too. I mean, that's really tough. I mean, there's a business situation where the travel agents probably don't want to talk about that situation. It's going to not give them the business they want. But again,
I think
you
people
talk
are
about
going to travel.
human
I mean,
beings,
it's a bill of rights. It's letting people know these are your rights in the travel industry.
Right.
Now, so you know before you sign up exactly what you're signing up for.
Let's go back to the job creation situation. One of the bills we talked about the last time we were together, the gaming bill too. I mean, there's a bill that we look at from both sides. We have both sides of the spectrum there, or both sides of the issue, where we don't want gambling because some people feel it's detrimental to society in general, or the town or city where the hotel or the casino might be built, or that might bring bad elements in. But on the other hand, it brings in money, it puts people to work, gives people jobs. So where does that bill stand? Is that still alive in the Congress, in the legislative branch?
The Speaker said he's going to resurrect the bill in some form.
He is going to resurrect it,
because the governor obviously was against what the Speaker wanted. It's going to be resurrected in some form, and they're going to be trying to deal with that in the first part of the next coming session. Now, it's not a panacea for our economy, but it's certainly a part that comes hand in hand with lowering costs of small business and creating jobs. I mean, this is a job creator. It is, and really. It's 15,000 jobs. How you can say no to 15,000 jobs. And the thing I like about it is I'm not a gambler. I've been to Foxwoods. My wife and I have been there once. Okay. I don't choose. I'm not a gambler. But what I like about it is it brings in entertainment. It allows people to see entertainment. The entertainment industry alone creates jobs.
Yeah, well, they've done that. The movie industry coming in too. That's another thing. Yeah.
When I was working full time and I was bringing up 2 daughters, and with college coming around the corner, and both my daughters were athletes, the soccer cleats. I always had a full-time, part-time job. That I worked my part-time job almost 20 hours a week, and I was able to go and produce, and it was a win-win. The small business owners that hired me, they were fantastic. I worked as a small in that small business for over 20 years. So my point in saying
what did you do?
I was a clerk.
A
clerk in the store, and I used to help them order their purchases and keep the shelves stocked.
So that was a small business job.
What that did with the gaming industry is going to create a lot of not only full-time jobs, but all kinds of part-time jobs for people like me that work full-time. You're going to be able to go there, work part-time, and get your job.
So we got the same, quite possibly the same issue on the negative side, that it's going to bring in, it's going to take up time. People are going to have cameras in the street where they live. The gaming is going to bring in people they might not want. But it's going to be somewhat negative in the sense it's giving so much back.
The people who don't like the idea of a game, they have legitimate concerns.
They do.
There's legitimate concerns. But the way it is now, all I see is the bumper of cars going down to Rhode Island, going down Connecticut. That's money we're leaving our state that we don't have.
Yeah, well, that bill's going to come up, though.
We got to keep something into it. I hope it does, and I hope that the Speaker, I hope that the Governor, and I hope that the Senate President are going to, cooler heads are going to prevail, and some form of gaming is going to come out to create jobs.
Let me ask you this question. We got the political situation in our country right now, nationwide, with President Obama having problems because of the Republican control both of the House and a little more control they had in previous time. They've got the votes. Yesterday in the state news bulletin, I guess Governor Patrick was willing. He says he wants to get to know the rank and file people in the state, both in the Senate and the House. And in view of the fact that maybe some of the leaders don't want to bend over backwards to help him out, he's willing to go to other people such as you, maybe some other. Is that something new that we haven't seen before as far as reaching out to the? I know he's had a tough time in the, especially with the Republicans in the House and the Senate. What's happening there? Is he turning over a little bit more?
Well, first of all, the governor's job is a tough job, no matter who he is, Democrat, Republican, anything. I mean, the governor's job is a very difficult job to have. I thought I think he could have done a better job of reaching out. I can only tell you I was one of, I think, 17 new state representatives last year. All in all, I think the governor's doing a good job, but I think he's come to the realization that he's got to reach out and have more of a one-on-one conversation.
So he's willing to do that?
Yeah, he's willing to do that.
Okay.
I know that Tim Murray did a great job at that last time.
Yeah.
I mean, I probably had 2 or 3 meetings in my first 6 months with the lieutenant governor.
Okay.
And so I was glad to hear the governor's going to do that.
Well, that's the word out. That's the word out.
We have a huge turnover. I mean, you're talking that the Republicans gained 17 seats.
17 seats.
They have 31.
Okay.
And we have something like, almost, when you add up the Democrats and Republicans, I think we have just about 28, 30 brand new state representatives.
Okay. All right.
So you're talking a large turnover of the House personnel.
Yeah, because the Democrats still control the House.
Right.
Okay.
There's 31 Republicans there. And,
okay. He needs the Republicans in the Senate, though, doesn't he? The Senate is a little bit more different, a little different.
The Republicans lost the seat in the
one seat.
Senate. Yeah, one.
Okay.
Well, Richard Tassay.
Okay.
You know, he ran for lieutenant governor.
Okay,
and,
that seat was gone. Okay.
Yeah, that seat's gone.
Okay.
Catherine Clark.
Okay, right. She was
a friend of mine. I think Catherine will do a great job as our senator, your senator, Reading Senator. I think she'll do a great job. Right. So, Bruce Tarr was elected minority leader in the Senate. Okay. And I think Bruce is a good man. I enjoy Bruce. We've had some pretty good conversations. He's been very, very helpful to me when I get elected. So, and it's all about what's good for the community. It's
well, you have to be willing to go out and do this.
I think we've talked about this 100 times. You know, I think we get too hung up on talking about Democrats, Republicans.
Well, that's the problem in our national election too. I mean, everybody's got a label.
Well, you know, the labels I don't think are good. I think it's what comes down to common sense and what's good for, what's good for the constituents and what's good for the taxpayers and in our communities that I represent. I try to vote on what I think is in the best interest of the communities. Okay. Well, pure and simple.
We trust you on that one. We trust that. Let's get back to some social. Well, we elected you. We're pretty smart people. We know who we want, I guess, and we're not actually dummies here. All right, some of the local issues here, and I know that this is coming up. You had that Reading Senior Thanksgiving dinner.
Oh, that was a great time.
You were there again?
Yeah, I'm glad you asked that question.
I noticed that last year we talked about it, and Brad Jones mentioned that one time, too. He thought that was a great...
Well,
so what happened there?
Yeah, Brad reached out. Brad's wife, Linda, she does a tremendous job.
You said that,
Yeah, they run it for Brad now. He runs it back to back. He has Reading on Saturday, and he had all the seniors from North Reading on Sunday.
North Reading on Sunday, okay.
We had tremendous talent. I don't know if you know Dan Clark, the singing sergeant.
No, I don't.
Oh, wait till you see his show. He's such a patriotic show.
All right.
But Brad, I co-sponsored it with Brad for the Reading seniors. Okay. We had well over 300 seniors.
What day was that? The day before Thanksgiving?
That was on a Saturday.
Saturday before, okay.
That's correct. Yeah. We had Steve Goldie was there, James Bonazzoli. Okay. Town manager Peter Heckenblecker was there.
So the local fair, good?
Oh, yeah.
300 people?
We had 300 people. And
at the senior center?
No, we had it at the Hillview Country Club.
Okay. I was going to say, how do you fit that many people in there?
No, we had it at the Hillview Country Club. We had Mimi and I were there, and we co-hosted with Brad and Linda.
Great.
And I think this was Brad's 4th year doing it.
Okay.
I may stand corrected on that, but I think it was his 4th year. But he and his wife did a fantastic job.
That's a great idea.
I was very, very proud. Mimi and I were very involved in the senior thing, and being on. I was at at one point in time in Woburn, I was on the Council for Aging. I was the liaison.
Was there anything in Woburn you weren't on when you were there? I mean, were there any committees?
Well, no. My heart goes out to the seniors. Yeah. I've been very involved with the Senior Center for a lot of years.
What's coming up for Christmas? Anything? Do they have anything planned for Christmas for the seniors at all? Or am I just making a honest nest
Well, I'm sure that Dawn Filopoulos, who, by the way, is the senior coordinator for Reading, she's wonderful. She does a great job. So I'm sure there'll be a few Christmas parties and festivities for the seniors. But
you never say a bad thing about anybody, do you?
Well, no, but Dawn does a great job. We had a great time there. My wife and I thoroughly enjoyed it.
Well, that's good. That's
good.
Fantastic. That's a great time, though, too. So that took place. We hope that the Christmas time will be even better that way. What about this local issue I did some research on? This Sanborn Place traffic issue. You want to talk about that very quickly?
Well, I got a call from the director of Peter Sanborn, and actually Steve Goldie, the town selectman, reached out to me about that. Yeah. And what they have and if you know the intersection, It's at Salem Street, right across from REI where Peter Sanborn is.
Okay.
You come out Bay State Road,
Yeah.
and all of a sudden you hit Salem Street.
Yeah.
And where it's at is when you're coming off the highway where the rotary is, you're making that right to come down towards Peter Sanborn and Bay State on the right-hand side, and it's a blind spot.
And there's no signs there, no traffic signals?
There's a crosswalk that needs to be illuminated a little bit better, but there's nothing there to stop that traffic, to allow the seniors to go to the convenience store across the street. There's Dunkin' Donuts there. There's REI. And just to catch a bus on the other side of that street.
That's a pretty busy area,
it's incredible. So actually Steve reached out to me and said, you know, is there a possibility that we can do something from the state? He started it. Do something from the state, maybe get some signalization to make a walkway there so you'll be able to hit a button and stop that traffic.
Okay.
So I reached out to the Department of Transportation.
That's the state?
That's the state.
Okay.
We'd make good headway on that.
Okay,
the state's going to come out and
examine it.
They're going to look at what we're looking at, and I am very optimistic. I think that's going to.
That's going to be a safety issue there too, right?
Oh, sure it is. Of course.
So we're doing something there.
Right, exactly.
Now let's jump because I know we run out of time every time we have a show because we get so much done here. Let's talk a little about the budget itself in the state. How about the state? How about the town and giving back money? How's that town aid going to happen? Is that going to be a problem again?
Well, cities and towns last year had a 4% cut on their local aid. Yes.
Okay.
I don't want to misspeak because I don't know, but I don't see the economy, the projections for the economy is not going to get any better. They're looking for another budget shortfall for the economy coming up this next year. So I don't know what the numbers are looking at as far as local aid cut.
Okay.
I'm assuming there's going to be some kind of cut.
Yeah.
I hope not.
Okay.
I didn't vote for the cut last time.
Yeah.
And I don't want to support a cut.
Well, let's be honest about this. Compared to some of the other states, I know it's not going to make it any easier, but states like California, New Jersey, and New York, some of those states that really have a big, big problem, we're not that bad off, right? I mean, we're bad off, but we're not really in a hole that we can't get out of.
Well, I don't think we're as bad as California is.
No, nobody is, I don't think.
But my point in saying that any cut to local aid is affects your quality of life in your community.
The education thing is not going to.
Absolutely correct.
Yeah, okay.
Absolutely correct. And being on the finance committee, when I was on the Woburn City Council, I know the cities and towns. They have a set amount of money they look for every year. And last year was the first year that local aid was ever touched.
Yeah.
So it makes people like me on the city councils and the selectmen boards, it makes them pretty nervous about how much money you're going to get. Yeah. It's tough to do a budget if you don't know what the cut's going to be.
Yeah, right.
So that's why it's important to at least give them the heads up before they start going through their budgetary cycle. This is the amount of money you're going to be receiving. Yeah. So it's tough.
But again, 4%, I know it's not a good sign, but it could be a heck of a lot worse, I think. So maybe we can look to some positive stuff in another year or two. Maybe they're saying the year is going to take a year to turn around.
About worse. I mean, 4% is 4%.
Yeah, I know
it is. I mean, that's money you never regroup.
Yeah.
It's money you got to find somewhere out in your community budget.
Yeah.
To plug in somewhere.
Yeah.
And it affects Chapter 90 money.
Yeah. Yeah.
Education.
Well, I've seen so many. I mean, it's getting to the point now where we're doing a lot of schools and other areas are doing a lot of fundraising too to get money. And that's kind of a tough situation to be in. But everybody wants to help out. But there's only so much money that can go around. So hopefully, this will turn itself around.
Well, we're very fortunate. Reading has a great public education system.
Yeah, we do. That's
teachers, the administrators. I mean, they work very, very hard.
These kids are very fortunate.
They are. And, we're fortunate Woburn have the same thing in Stoneham. So we've got 3 communities here that they prioritize their educational system, and you have to give them an awful lot of credit. That's for sure. Okay.
Let's have a little fun here. How's your friend Brad Jones? Is he still buddy with you, or you had any problems with him as far as agreement or non-agreement?
Well, I know Brad's a little bit happier now because there's 17 more state representatives, so he more than doubled his size.
That's good.
He's been elected again as the minority leader by his peers.
Okay.
Well, not again, but he will be coming up from my understanding.
That's a done deal?
No, I wouldn't say it's a done deal, but he's very optimistic that he has the votes to be. Okay. I can only tell you, when you talk about party labels, Brad Jones has been, I told you, has been very, very good to me as a counterpart. He's been very helpful to me. Now that I've been in there another term,
he really tells it as it is, doesn't he? Yeah.
Well, Brad and I have a good
Not that you don't,
relationship
but I
because
mean,
we're going to do what's in the best interest for Reading.
He's a tough guy.
He's been excellent. So I'm a little bit more seasoned than I was 2 years ago. So I'm looking forward to maybe doing a little bit more, being a little bit more active.
In what
probably
areas?
the best
In
word.
what areas
Well, active in committees.
Okay.
Not that I was. I'm on the Judiciary Committee, which is.
You're on the Judiciary Committee. What other committee did we mention you were on?
Well, I was on the Judiciary Committee was a
That's
very
a big one.
Well, it was very high profile. I think I was one of the only non-attorneys in many, many years on that committee. And from my, courthouse experience and with probation, the Speaker asked me about the Judiciary. I was very thrilled. I was a very active member in the Judiciary. My heart and soul is in with the committee that I'm on is families, children, and folks with disabilities.
Okay, okay.
And that committee is a committee that, DCF, prior DSS,
Okay.
Department of Youth Services, Juvenile Matters, and
There's a lot of
35
things,
years
yeah.
I was a juvenile probation officer and the chief for that particular juvenile court. That's my heart and soul. And I was on the board of directors for CMARC, and I'm very involved with EMARC here in Reading.
Well, you've done a good job.
Disabilities.
You've done a good job.
So I'd really like to move up in that committee and take more of a proactive role.
All right, we're going to wrap up the show, but I want to make sure that you know that there's
It's almost done?
Yeah, well, you talk too long. The thing is that there's a basketball shootout down at the high school, the 26th.
Oh, the basketball
And
shootout.
you're the man that always goes there, so we hope you're going to be there. Anybody wants to come down, see Mr. Dwyer shoot baskets, he thinks he's pretty good.
Well, wait a minute, time
I know,
out.
you beat me. You're not going to go in there.
No,
We're going to go that
no,
way.
you
But
challenged me.
Yeah, I know. But we have to congratulate, before we leave, the football team, the volleyball team, and especially the swim team for what they did this year, because you're a sports. So why don't you say
I love
congratulations?
sports. I
Okay.
want to congratulate the swim team. I
Okay,
mean, to
good.
be state Division II champions, that's quite an honor.
Right.
And the football team, my heart broke for the football team.
Well, it's only one game. So don't get too
It is
excited.
only one game, and I
Okay.
think people need to put that in perspective.
Okay,
These
what
are
about
young kids doing this.
Okay.
They did a great job. They were almost undefeated for the year. They deserve an awful lot of credit.
What about the volleyball team? You know nothing about volleyball, do you?
Wow,
Okay.
actually,
But
I do
they did a
know a
good
little
job.
bit about
Okay.
volleyball,
Yeah,
but I
you-
want to congratulate the volleyball team.
You're
so.
bouncing all over the place. All right, we're going to wrap the show because we have to go home, and Mr. Dwyer has to go back to work here. But we're going to thank you, Mr. Dwyer, for coming in. We'll see you again next
call me
month, I
Jim?
think. And no, I'll call you Mr. Dwyer. You're a state representative. You're the big duke. And I want to wish everybody a Merry Christmas, Happy New Year. Mr. Dwyer does too. He'll be
Merry Christmas,
at his
everybody.
house for a big party if you want to go there. He has free food for all you people, all the constituents. So remember that. And Mr. Dwyer, thank you again. You've done a good
Tony,
job.
thanks so
and
much,
hopefully
my
you'll
friend.
keep doing a good job. We'll vote you out. This is Tony Lalacata for Jim Dwyer. News from the Hill. We'll see you again next month. And just remember, it's important to be nice. Mr. Dwyer learned that, and he thanks you people very much. Goodbye, everybody.